the true record of the first general offensive of Guadalcanal. First, the annihilation battle of the beach at the Matanical River. Captain Kamei's charge. Behind the crushing victory achieved by the retreating Japanese forces on the west bank of the Matanical River on September 27, 1942. The sacrifice of the grueling local battle. Heavy machine guns blowing off helmets. This occurred just after the 8th Company began its charge against the U.S. forces crowded on the beach. Under intense fire from enemy water-cooled heavy machine guns, the helmets of Soldier Gondo and Soldier Aramaki, standing just 2 meters away from the company commander Captain Kamei, were blown off by bullets. Their heads and faces were crushed, and a gruesome scene was recorded where their fresh blood splattered across Captain Kamei's entire body. The end of Captain Kamei. Immediately after, Captain Kamei carried out a brave and daring charge with a thunderous roar. During the assault, a bullet pierced his abdomen, causing him to fall. However, he maintained his tenacity, continuing to advance with his subordinates and successfully occupying the enemy position after hand-to-hand combat. Although Captain Kamei died a heroic death in the fierce struggle, his actions were the decisive factor in forcing the U.S. troops to retreat. Second, the Nakayama Detachment, a forced march carrying the commander's hopes. Just before the first general offensive, Lieutenant Hiroshi Nakayama and 3 others undertook a life-threatening reconnaissance mission to establish contact between the main force and Colonel Oka's unit, the left wing, on the west coast. Had attack dissolved in water. While navigating without a proper map, they descended river that reached up to their chests and submerged themselves to hide whenever enemy planes appeared. A desperate episode remains of how their precious hard attack compound, which they had carefully carried, absorbed water, dissolved, and vanished. The detachment commander's canned food. Among the food carried by Lieutenant Nakayama was commander's can, which had been personally handed to him by Detachment Commander Kawaguchi at the time of departure. They used this as emotional support while enduring the unexpected cold of the tropical jungle at night, huddled together without being able to light a fire. A tearful report. After wandering through the jungle for several days, Lieutenant Nakayama and his men finally discovered Colonel Oka's unit. The moment they saw Colonel Oka holding the regimental colors, the 4 men ran toward him, shouting, "Regimental Commander," and wept uncontrollably as they were greeted with words of his appreciation. Third, the march of starvation and the hell of the field hospital. The soldiers who survived the combat was met with a horrific retreat and the ravages of disease. Transport all wounded. During the retreat starting from the 14th, the detachment commander gave a strict order: do not abandon even a single person, because it is required 9 men to transport 1 wounded soldier, 4 to carry the stretcher, 4 as relief, and 1 to carry weapons. The entire unit effectively became a patient transport corps. For 5 to 6 days, they marched in a state of total fasting, without a single grain of rice, surviving only on the hearts of palm, maggots swarming in the wounds. The soldiers sent to the field hospital, as Tasafarong found a hospital in the name only, lacking both medicine and food. Large maggots were swarming and moving around inside their wounds, but the soldiers lacked even the energy to remove them. The mother's dream and a miraculous school. While drifting in and out of consciousness from high material fevers, one soldier dreamed that his mother from his hometown had come to fetch him, but he was being left behind because his legs wouldn't move. However, it is told that heavy squall began to fall at that exact moment, lowering his body temperature and miraculously allowing him to survive.